everyone. I'm so glad you all come to hear me speak. Next, I will talk about the microeconomic consequences of a fact tax. First of all, we need to know what a fat tax is. Literally, a fat tax is a tax on products which cause obesity. We need to spend more on certain food or beverage that are considered unhealthy or high in sugar, fat, or calories. This will trigger an argument for rising tax on activities we discourage, not on activities that are socially desirable. By analyzing what the fact tax will do to the economy, we'll know if this is good or bad. We can now see a supply and demand graph without any external influence. They will intersect at the equilibrium point. We can find here is the customer surplus and here is the producer surplus. At this time, customer and producer surplus are equal in a state of perfect balance. When we add a consumption tax in, the original demand curve will shift to the left, which means lower demand from Q1 to Q2. The equilibrium point will go down as well. The P1 here represent the price level of the buyer's pay, and P2 represent the price level of the seller's receive. And the red shaded area represent the customer surplus after tax, and blue here is the producer surplus after tax. Both of them shrink to a smaller size than before when there was no consumption tax. So that the green part here is the tax revenue. The orange part represent the new deadweight loss. This supply and demand curve explain what happened when the import tax appear on the market. When tariffs are imposed in imported goods, they increase the cost of imported goods to the domestic customers. Here is a question. If you are a customer, would you buy an item with import tax added or products on its original price? I think if the answer was yes, then there won't be so many people shopping at the tax-free store in airport. Now we can see the customer surplus goes up and the producer surplus goes down. At the same time, the quantity supply will rise and the quantity demand will fall. Between the new QS and QD, this green area is the tariff revenue. At this point, the gray area on the either side is the deadweight loss. On last graph, the deadweight loss refers to the loss of economic efficiency caused by the tariff, and the reduction in total surplus, which is customer and producer surplus. This is due to the distortion in the market. And this deadweight loss here refers to the loss of economic efficiency caused by the consumption tax in the microeconomic, and the reduction in total output and welfare due to the decrease in the aggregate demand and aggregate supply. Now, I extend this to microeconomic with the ADAS model. Import tax reduces the purchasing power of import goods. AD1 curve will shift to the left, which is 82, leads to a decrease in the price level and a decrease in aggregate output. And it will intersect the long-term aggregate supply curve at point C. If the import tax lead to more domestic production of substitutes, the AS curve will shift to the right, thus rising aggregate supply. Here from SRAS1 to ARS2 also intersect at the point C. And the 81 curve represent aggregate demand before the import tax, and 82 curve represent aggregate demand after the import tax. Here we can see if there is improvement in public health, can shift the aggregate supply curves to the right, as a healthier population can efficiently produce more goods and services, as well as increasing customer confidence and well-being. At the same time, economy can achieve a higher level of economic output at a constant or even lower price level. This means that economic growth accelerates and provides potential long-term benefit to the economy. We can see the long-run aggregate supply curve and intersection point both shift to the right. It can rise labor productivity, increase the overall supply of goods and services in the economy. It also reduces healthcare costs. In addition, the economic aggregate demand curve has a high potential to shift positively as labor productivity increase, the healthcare cost decrease, and the quality of life improves. Further increases in economic output and potentially lower price levels. Here is the directed acyclic graph, which is describing the health and economic growth consequences of the fat tax. Here we have three main variables: fat tax, health outcomes, and economic growth. Fat tax is hypothesized that it will lead to changes in health outcomes and economic growth. And the health outcomes represent the impact of the fat tax on public health. It includes factors such as changes in obesity rates, diet quality, and related health conditions. Assuming the health outcomes from the fat tax are in a good way, it will lower the obesity rate. And economic growth includes factors such as changes in food industry revenue, employment, and overall economic productivity. This connecting errors from fat tax to economic growth suggests that fat tax may affect these economic indicators. Additionally, fat tax will directly influence people's dietary habits or through some tax policies. People's dietary habits also affect the economic growth. This diagram allows for a clear idea about how to use empirical econometric models to do further evaluation. Finally, thanks for listening, and I'm sure we all have a better understanding of a macroeconomic result of the fat tax. See you next time.